Hey, all you comic book junkies out there, welcome back to Comic Book Corner, and it is me, Mike Spider Slayer. Guys, we are back for another comic book review, and today we are talking about none other than the new Punisher Warzone mini-series. This is one of five, and this book was written by Greg Rucka, and the art is done by Carmen De Gidamenesio. There are some crazy ass words in this issue when it comes to artists. Um, but let me just say that I quite enjoyed the book. Um, First off, we'll talk about the cover. The cover, you can see, obviously has to do with most of our Avenger characters in this book. You have Iron Man, Thor, you have Captain America, Spider-Man himself, and it was a pretty good issue. The art for me was great at some points and really artistic and creative, and then there was other points where it lacked. To give you a look at the art without me just showing you, here we can see Frank Castle. He's got the eye patch, he's got the beard, he looks rough looking, he's in a jacket. Here we can see that. Here's another page. There's a whole bunch of long panels in there, so it might be a little bit hard to see. And then here's a nice page with Spider-Man just reading the Daily Bugle, finding out what the Punisher is all about, how he is a mass murderer and he needs to go to jail for his crimes. So, again, this book had a great cover. I loved it a lot. The story right now is it's just getting started, so it's kind of hard to really, judge anything right off the bat. It's just a mini series of 5 issues, and it's the first one, and it's a stepping stone. But it has definite promise because it has Spider-Man in it, and the opening pages of the actual book are so good. Um, you know, you find out that Spider-Man is reading everything that the Punisher has done. You got the cops looking after him, and they're talking about how he's maybe on a beach somewhere over in Florida, and actually Boca Raton. That's actually, which is funny, is the hometown that I grew up in South Florida. So that was pretty funny that they said that. Or they're saying that he could be in South America, but he's still right here in New York. And the next thing we see is that he's going towards the van. He hears something, and he pulls out his gun, and he's going under the car, and all of a sudden he's walking, checking out things. Everything is silent. Then all of a sudden, is that how a spider web sounds? I don't know. Does it? I don't know, but it's cool. And next thing you see is, Spider-Man just coming in, and he basically just clocks the freaking Punisher. I mean, he just is like, he just says words like the emo goth military chick thing. I can even get behind the no one understanding my pain log line. He's like, but you used one of my web shooters to get into that building, and you used something I created to kill. And let me tell you, Frank, buddy, pal. He's like, that kind of ticks me off, and he clocks him right here in the face. He really beats the shit out of Punisher here. I don't usually see Spider-Man like that. Um, the cool thing in this issue is that you get to see the ability of Spider-Man's skill, how they used to do it in comics. Like, he's on a wall at one point, and then you see all here in the back, you see all the older images from where he came from up until that point, and they show that quite often in this particular issue. Um, but while he's beating the crap out of Punisher, he's just telling them that, you know, people die in their life, but that doesn't give them an excuse to kill others, you know, and it's time that you go to jail, to Rikers Island, and pay for your crimes. And Spider-Man basically had enough. And the Punisher is just like, don't make me hurt you, don't make me hurt you. And he tries punching him, and Spider-Man just dodges out of the way, and he tries clocking him in the face, and that doesn't work. And it's so funny though, because it's just like Spider-Man has him completely outmatched in every way possible. He does all these little stunts and all these skills, which is really cool. And he's just like, give up. But here's the part where um, the Punisher punches him there, and it doesn't affect him whatsoever. The artwork in the book at this particular point is where it was at its highs. It's got the nice battle between the Punisher. It's got the little uh, things of where Spider-Man was jumped. Like at one point he's on the wall, and then you see the little image of him um, going through the air, and then he lands on his feet. So I like seeing stuff like that. Next thing you know, you see how the Punisher makes his last threat, and he just says, "I don't want to hurt you," and he throws this bomb or this sonic bomb or something like that, and it really affects Spider-Man's hearing and his senses and everything else, and he just basically he takes off, and he takes Spider-Man's web shooter, and he's like, "Oh man, not again," um, and he just takes off. So as the issue goes on, you got, you know, Tony Stark. He's away, and you know, he has this Bruce Springsteen concert that's in Moscow, and he's missing it, and he's all, you know, in his little get up and his outfit. And you got Wolverine, Black Widow, Thor, you know, Captain America's all involved, and you know, Spider-Man makes his proposal saying that we got to stop the Punisher. He does all these murderous crimes and la la la, and he gives them the spiel, and you know, they're all making jokes. They're like, all right, I got some other place to be. We're not gonna go there. We're gonna see you guys later. Adios, muchacho. And he's like, the cops can't stop him, and if they do stop him, he doesn't stay in jail a long time. So, you know, he gives him all these articles and this stuff, and you know, he's really trying to convince him. And Steve just eventually says, okay, you know what? He's like, he's right. He's like, we gotta do what we have to do. And you know, Black Widow's like, you think we can bring him in? He's like, I don't see why we can't. And this was the part of the artwork that I wasn't a fan of. Like, here's Black Widow. That's what she looks like right there. And I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. Like the standalone sequences and when they're human forms without costumes or anything, they look a little funny looking. But Spider-Man, when he's in his costume, was great, and the Punisher was pretty good himself too. Um, but the next thing we see Wolverine um, walking off, and he has words with Captain America that he doesn't agree with the whole thing. So what happens is Wolverine actually goes to Long Island, and you see the Punisher going in his hideout here. And the next thing we see is the Punisher is looking at things, and he goes into his armory. This was a nice picture here. I like that picture. Now, I'm not a huge Punisher fan. I don't really read a lot of Punisher books, but this one was pretty good, so I enjoyed it. It was cool. And the next thing we see is Wolverine comes in, and he's basically given Frank tips to get out. He's like, phosphorus burns all traces away, and you know, Logan says, you killed the cops, and Frank is like, no, and he goes, that's what I thought. And he gives him the tip that the Avengers, Logan gives him the tip that the Avengers are coming after him, and you know, he's threatening him, you know, just giving him tips saying that they're gonna lock you up, and you know, they use the phosphorus, and the next thing you see is Frank burns all the traces of his hideout and everything that happens. And that's the end of the issue. And yeah, and that's it. And here's the next part. part right here, if you can see. We got next, and then issue 3, and then issue 4. So those are your next 3 issues that are coming out soon. So yeah, I mean that's the gist of the actual issue right here. You got Spider-Man trying to stop Punisher. He escapes. He goes to his pals, the Avengers. They're going to be going after him, and he basically burns out in his hideout to destroy any type of evidence so they can't find him. And that's basically the end of the issue. So now you're going to have the Avengers go after Frank. This is the first issue, so again, things are getting started. I'm sure in these next 2, 3, 4 issues, the battles are going to heat up, and there's going to be some really great things. So I'm actually looking forward to this book and seeing what it has to offer in the future. So guys, if you are on the fence about this, hopefully I gave you enough information to see how things go, and maybe you might want to pick it up. And it is only $2.99, so it's definitely worth a try. So guys, that is my review for Punisher Warzone, issue number 1. And if you like what you see, guys, subscribe to my channel today, and leave your comments below. I love the comments. And if you have any criticism for me, leave it there, because I take it just as well, okay? So guys, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner, and this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Take care, everyone. See you soon.